Actually, with Martin, we never really pushed him to ride. You know, he wanted to ride and he had fun. And then we put the pony in a riding school where he passed almost every day, and maybe 3 times a week he went to ride, and so it was not so much pressure.
Yeah, I think it was quite soon that I already loved to be around the horses. Actually, in the beginning, I was still a little bit scared to ride, but I remember watching them ride in the sand ring and standing in front of the box of the horse on the window, cuddling, caressing the horses all afternoon. And then when I was 7 years old, I started doing a little bit ponies, but on a really low level, and started to have fun. Like my father said, the pony was stable on my way home from school. So I passed there with my bicycle, was riding there with a lot of other kids, playing games, also a lot of games next to the riding, which was also very, very fun.
My father was already in horses. Actually, we learned a lot from him. Also, Martin, my father gave lessons to Martin. I was not so patient like Renata, my wife. I think she is now much more responsible than Martin became a good rider like she is now than me, you know.
I definitely have a lot of memories as a child, watching my parents compete, or also my godfather, Willy Meliger. I still remember very well the CSI Zurich, where he was competing with Calvaro, winning the Grand Prix, where I was as a small boy, and then also some big wins of my parents, including a very fond memory of my mom winning the Grand Prix in Aach, not Aachen, but in Aach. And then I was allowed as a small boy to go on the lap of honor with her on her horse at the same time. So that is something that I'll never forget. Yeah, my mother was very successful as well. She has competed in a lot of Nations Cups and was a Swiss champion in front of all the top riders back in the days when the national championships was still very, very competitive and everyone was bringing the best horses. So I'm obviously very proud of my mom's success, even though not so many people speak about it, but she was definitely a very important part.
Individual, I never really won anything. I jumped 2 Olympics, Seoul first time, then 4 years later, Barcelona. Before we could not jump, my brother and me, my brother Marcus and me, we could not jump the Olympics because we were professionals. I must say I was maybe a bit more talented than Marcus, but he was the tougher guy. So I stopped like 10, 15 years before he stopped, and he is 2 years older. But of course, when we were riding junior things, it was for me was for sure easier because I learned a lot from him also. And my best I was member of the winning team European Championships 3 times.
My grandfather played a very big role in my career. He was always very supportive. I mean, everyone was supportive, but he was kind of my best friend, and we spent a lot of time together in the stable. Went on rides together or spent time around the horses, and there I've learned a lot all around the horses and in the stable. And then when I started jumping, and my mother was mostly responsible for my training and the coaching. And then just later, when I started to become a bit better, I moved into my father's ranks and under his wings, and that's when he started to work with me.
When he was already ready, I took over the reins. You know?
But there was still some hard work to do, a lot of training hours. Like my mother, she was always scared watching us train because we would jump very big in the indoor at home just so I could practice. My father, it was always important that I could practice a lot and jump different horses. So that's definitely what helped me to be as a young boy, to be able to jump a lot of different horses and a lot of high fences to really get confident and comfortable with it, which my mother wasn't comfortable with it. I mean, now it's definitely very easy compared to our starts to work together as a family in it. Obviously, when I was still junior and had a lot, I still have a lot to learn now, but back then, obviously, I had a lot more to learn. And I would say it was a bit frustrating sometimes when it doesn't go as quick, as good as you would want it. And my father is such a a talented rider himself, and I would say also a bit spoiled to have been able to work with such high talented people, that he didn't have as much patience always to and understanding for something, or someone still having to learn something or not being at this level yet. But definitely in the past 10 years, I feel like we've had a really good relationship all around the horses as well, and a very easy relationship. We respect each other. We talk to each other about the horses and about the program, and I think we both profit a lot from each other. What my mother was always saying, that puppy that just wants the best for you and wants you to be the best possible rider. So it's I think then you have to separate it a little bit and don't think about your trainer as your father, but think about him as someone who tries to get the best out of you and tries to give you the best possible career.
The final three. Clear. Clooney, 51.
7.
Been in a silver medal twice. Championships. Can they move into the #1 spot here in Rotterdam? He flies the last.
Fantastic.
He's got a time penalty. It doesn't make any difference. Martin Fuchs with the horse of the year. Clooney, 51, goes into the lead.
We didn't really plan, we always hope, that he will be a good rider. It was not only my wife and me which helped him. We had for quite a long time, or for probably a few years, a dressage teacher maybe every week for an hour or two. I think the really good riders now, they really learn from a lot of other riders also, because they watch them, they watch in the warm-up, they watch in the ring. That's not only because of my wife and me that he became a good rider. He had to do quite a lot of things himself. Okay, family, family which is in the sport is probably a lot easier now. There's a lot of children come into the sport where the parents don't have a clue about horses or riding, but they're still teaching them, and then the things are not going really well, I think. I think they must have a professional coach or teacher, maybe not completely from the start, but after, when they start a little bit 120 classes or bigger, you really have to start knowing what you're doing. I mean, he did championships as a children championship when he was 14. Then he did 4 times junior European championships, 3 times young rider championship. Gives a really big experience already. For a child to jump the children European championship is the same as for a 35-year-old to jump the European championships seniors. So I think that's why he's he's very cool. His nerves are really good, so we can use him as a last rider in the team or the first rider. So he has a lot of experience for his age. I was also say we were quite lucky to get some older Grand Prix horses, like Principal, Idiot Duto, from a good friend of us, Beat Manley, used to ride them, and then he went away there and he gave the horses to us. It was a friend I had since juniors.
Rolf Tyler,
and he gave the horses to us and to him, and I think that was also made it everything a little bit faster, that you get 2 5-star Grand Prix horses as a almost junior maybe, a young rider.
And I think that was also a very big part in my career, that we've had such good horse owners that supported me already from an early age. Like my father says, Rolf Tyler was there very in the early beginning, and then obviously my main owner Luigi Valeri has been supporting me now for already 20 years. So he really he has always supported me with horses. Also, he taught me how to drive a car and a lot of other things in life. So Luigi's been there a lot for me. My mother would usually go to the drive already with the horse truck to the junior shows, and Luigi would pick me up in school, so I could stay at school as long as possible. It was not me who wanted that, but so I had to stay at school as long as I could, and then Luigi came to pick me up and we would drive together to Italy or to France or to Germany at the CSI Junior show.
But still jumping superb. One fence. This is vital. Martin Fuchs on his home turf comes to the last. That's what they needed. That's what the crowd wanted.
At the beginning, I left the shows quite a few times because he was keeping falling down, you know, from the horses. Maybe he was not riding good enough and a little bit too careful horses, and then he was growing so quickly. From a small boy, suddenly he was quite a tall guy, and then the balance was a bit difficult for him. So it was better that Renata went more often to the shows with him than me, you know.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it was hard when you try to do your best, and then your father coach leaves after the first round, and I mean, I still had my mother there, but obviously I wanted to do well for both of them. But that I feel like he hasn't left a show in quite a while. When I was competing, maybe some of our students, but yeah. But I do remember him leaving from the show in Ascona when I fell first day and the second day. Yeah. For sure, a big key to our success that we have a lot of people that love the horses, that love the sport, that trust us, that believe in us, and that believe in me. And this is definitely one of the main factors that helps me to be in the top sport. And Adolfo Yuri, who has owned horses for my uncle Marcus for 20 years. And when he stopped his career, now he already owned horses for me for 15 years, such as Leone Che and Connor Che. So I think that also helps me really to be confident and comfortable, because owners like these really give you a lot of confidence that you can do your work, that you don't need to worry about horses being sold, that you don't need to worry that when you do a few bad rounds that they're not going to stand behind you. And along the way I found also a few other owners that have supported me really a lot, and now actually with Laura Cannoli, who bought 2 horses together with Luigi, the L&L horses they're called now. So it's a lot of nice stories and a lot of very nice people.
3:47 to try and defend the title he won in 2019, and he's done all he can. Nearly 2 seconds quicker than Dara Kenny.
I think at this time now we care more for the horses, our horses, than for the riders. I think you need to keep the horses sound, keep the horses in good form, keep them happy. I mean, he knows what he is doing when we have training, even when we are training with Steve. I don't need to say much, you know, when I come again, they know what they did wrong. I don't really need to do any corrections, you know, they know themselves. If it would not be like this after so many years training, I think then I would have done a lot of things wrong.
I feel like when we do mistakes, we try to not do them the next time. So there's definitely not something that stands out that we feel like we should have done different, because I think then we would not be very clever to not change what hasn't been working. I think a lot of things have worked very well already from a young age, and that we build on that, and that we focus on our strength and try to push.
I think, you know, now there's more maybe talented riders, but they are maybe not tough enough. They are not watching enough good ones. They go a little bit to shows, they want to enjoy. I think a lot of them will have a hard time to go to the top, you know, or maybe it's not even possible. I don't really understand competitive dad. I like to go to the shows and like to win the big classes. I'm not as hot anymore. I was more a bit, when I was competing, I won a lot of small things, but never really a big one, you know, so now it's a bit different. He wins the big stuff, and so that's like normal ranking, smaller ranking class is not that important anymore.
But I wouldn't really, I don't know if competitive dad is the right word for him, because he's not competitive as in you have to win that or you have to do this or you have to be better than this other kid or this. It was never I think my father is the least jealous person I've ever met, also in success in general, or when Steve and me compete against each other in a jump up, he never prioritizes or favorizes me over Steve. Amateur riders that work with the family.
If they are really beginners, maybe don't send the children to me, you know, to train.
I think anyone working with the family has to try to, in their mind, separate the riding a bit from family. So if your father is helping you, don't think about him as your father, but think about him as your coach and as your trainer. And then once you're off the horse, you can be again dad and son, or mother and son.
I'm proud of both my sons, you know, and I think the most proud we can be is that we have a family which get along very well, you know, even with our other son, which is not really competing. He plays a little bit of polo, but not in the level like he does in show jumping. But no, we enjoy our grandchildren, and yeah, it's not only Martin now in our life, you know, we have quite a few other things we enjoy.
And we have a lot of things to talk about thanks to the horses, and not only the things to talk about, but a lot of people that we are involved with as a family with the horses. Also with my girlfriend Simone, who is doing dressage and who spends a lot of time with us at our house and around our stable. That is also something that I feel like only horse people can do, that brings the whole family so close to each other.
Do you still discuss horses at the dinner table, or is that it?
I think a bit less than 40 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
Now it's more videos of his grandkids.
Yeah.